it was organized and here with the willingness. But as of right now, here's Malcolm. It is the this is the NHL with Will Upton, Cyro Asseo Wil Upton. What it is, guys. Man, I'm gonna be watching, but let's just talk about this. And I think it's something that has been very much interesting because let's just talk about the game, okay? And first game on the dollars here is the pass the Boston Celtics 107. Jimmy Butler had his career 40-point playoff game with the Heat. That's 41 9 down 5. This all out of man. This man just kept making everything. Setting his team up success as well. Four steals, 3 block effort took down the Boston Celtics in the first game against the Chicago Bears. Jimmy Butler was dueling Jason Tatum, who Jason Tatum ended up losing that duel the same way. Aaron Bird getting beat. His name was Alexander Hamilton. Richard Alexander Hamilton. Is that wild? You're right. The crazy part is I bet Jimmy Butler found his way 18 times to the free throw line, which I thought was strange myself. But I definitely think if we think about it, Jimmy Butler is in a position to succeed. So I think really what is going on is this is insane. This is going to be a 7-game series, and by Jimmy Butler going to the free throw so many times, he changed the game, okay? I feel like everyone was just like exhausted that he just kept getting to the free throw line. We're just like, why? What are you doing? Like, this ain't fair. And he just kept doing it. We were all just standing there like, this is not fair, Jimmy. And he just dictated. He made the Boston Celtics play his pace. And the Boston Celtics had no idea how to react, you know? But hopefully it'll be able to be fixed and we'll be able to see it'll be good, you know? I want to hear your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this game and what needs to be fixed, okay? I actually just made a banner and I'm going to add that shit in, okay? Wait, I want this shit scrolling. There you go. Look at that banner, guys. And I think this is how Jimmy Butler believes in the Boston Celtics. 48, that's the number of points the paints in the paints the Celtics had in this game. And the crazy part is, you're thinking, why is that significant? Because they had 42 at half and managed only 6 points in the paint in the second half. Isn't that crazy? 48 points in the paint. 42 of them happened in the first half. 6 happened in the second half. He completely shut down the paint. While the Celtics didn't get to the free throw line, it wasn't enough, okay? They made the same mistakes from the Heat's weak side defense that we saw, you know, all fourth and third quarter. Like in the first quarter, they were throwing easy lobs to Robert Williams. There was easy dribble penetrations, attacking closeouts. In the second half, there was none of that. In the moment it was over, after Jaylen Brown knocked down a 3-pointer with 3.5 minutes left in the game, that he called a timeout with a 10-point lead. They came out of that huddle with Jimmy Butler getting a deep dribble penetration to find Max Strus for a 3-pointer, and it pushed it back to 13. Boston would, push it down to 7, but there wasn't enough time. Every time the Celtics tried to come back, the Heat did it. The Heat literally made every big bucket that was needed. And then you go over, they've got Bam Adebayo more involved. His lack of aggressiveness didn't hurt Miami, but they need to get him more involved and moving things over. They're gonna have to figure out how to use him not only as a lob threat and a guy that can be utilized inside the paint, but you need to use him as a guy who has the ability to make plays in the middle of the defense. He's a guy who got a lob threat. He's a person that they need to gravitate more towards the hoop, catching and throwing down lobs, okay? And I think the Heat are a better three-point shooting team. They're a really good three-point shooting team. I know for the playoffs, if you actually look at it, the Boston Celtics are a better three-point shooting team than the Miami Heat, for statistically speaking, for the playoffs. And again, people don't realize Kyle Lowry's been out with a hamstring. Duncan Robinson play because of defense. Also, Max Strus is the better version of Duncan Robinson. I've been saying this for months. Well, I mean, anybody who isn't a Miami fan knows that. Also, guys, it's crazy. Get the job in Sarasota. I could move to Miami or Orlando in a year or two after that. So in like 2 to 3 years, people might be in Miami or Orlando. I mean, I've said it in my head that if I can go to Orlando, work for towards an extent for the Orlando Magic, I would. There's not many jobs that could be working for the Orlando Magic for me. People don't realize I'm a huge Orlando Magic fan. If I could work for the Orlando Magic, oh my God, that'd be insane. Either way, we're going back to this. Now, look, Adebayo's playmaking can set things up. Literally, even when I said him gravitating towards the hoop, I know he's not a shooter and a lob threat. He's more of a lob threat. But if you put him in the paint or around the paint, he's going to be able to pass out the low post or even out of the high elbow, and it'll be successful for the team. Now, what do the Celtics need to do to win Game 2? Al Horford won't be back for Game 2. Marcus Smart could be. The start of the game went so well for the Celtics because they didn't allow dribble penetration. Then Butler, Tyler Hero, and Gabe Vincent, the Nigerian devil himself, took over the offense where they got into the teeth of the Celtic defense. Without Horford or Smart there, the pieces just aren't quite as good to make up for that or even prevent it altogether. Game 2 has to see an emphasis to keep them out of the paint. Keep Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo off of the paint, okay? And especially keep Jimmy Butler from the free throw line because he'll force you to beat him with jumpers. And, you know, the Celtics stopped getting into the paint in the second half, and only a late flurry of Jaylen Brown three-pointers saved their outside percentage. Jaylen Brown needs to get it going early. Jason Tatum can't carry the team for the entirety of the game. It is an early morning, guys. Also, we're paying for StreamYard. I think it's definitely worth it. What do you guys think of this? I think it looks cool. Looks rad. Well, let's talk about it. Let's continue. I want to hear your thoughts. What is going on with the rest of this playoffs? On Wednesday, Mavericks will be playing the Warriors. What's my prediction for this? You know, I definitely think it's interesting because we're looking at a I hate when I don't know if I said or looking at a. But let's talk about this Warriors Mavericks series. Shout out the Athletic. Also, we'll be talking about the NBA draft very soon. So the Athletic posted an NBA playoff prediction for this one. Isn't it crazy that the top 7 defenses in the NBA were all technically 6 out of 7 were playoff teams. If you can't include Cavaliers as a playoff team, they're a playing team. But top 6 out of 7 defenses were in the playoffs, and the top 4 out of 7, the 7th best, the 4th best, the 2nd best, the 1st best regular season teams of the last 4 teams, meaning pretty wild. So let's get right into it. I think when you look at the Dallas Mavericks, Dallas has got momentum. They're confident. They're the dark horse. They got everything you need in this series. Nobody expected them to be here. They have nothing to lose. And they're going to need a massive amount of confidence. They're the underdogs. Look at what they accomplished by crushing the Suns in Game 7. How does this play out for the series? I really don't know. The outside of the series is that the Mavs have an amazing amount of momentum. It's very similar to back in the day when Leicester City won the Premier League. Nobody would have expected Leicester City to win the Premier League, but that's what they ended up doing. I mean, you know, it was phenomenal to watch, and it was something else. And I very much enjoyed it. Okay. And now when we look at this over here, again, I've taken the Mavs. I want the Mavs. Look, the X factor is Spencer Dinwiddie. He had a great game for Dallas against Phoenix in Game 6 and 7. He was huge. He's the key factor. If he can perform at a high level, it helps take off the pressure off of Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic, which opens up Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock and Maxi Kleber, Davis Bertans. And that's another thing. We need Davis Bertans to be hitting threes. We need Maxi Kleber to be hitting threes. And the other thing is Dallas is that they need their 3 go-to guys, Doncic, Jalen Brunson, and Dinwiddie. Okay? Yes, there's been nights where Dorian Finney-Smith, Bullock, Kleba, one of those guys can pick up the pieces if Brunson or Dinwiddie doesn't have a big night. Usually Brunson always has a big night with Doncic. Dorian Finney-Smith will be on Klay Thompson. So the Mavs have somebody who can guard one of each of the Warriors' key players. Because I expect we're going to be seeing. Do you think Luka wouldn't be on Steph? Would you? Would you put Luka on Steph because of the size mismatch? Because I know athletically speaking, Steph is way faster than Luka, but Luka's is so much bigger than Steph in the sense that he can stay on him. Then you put Jalen Brunson on Jordan Poole, or do you put Luka on Jordan Poole to match up the size better, and Jordan Poole's going to match up better, or Luka's going to match up better on Jordan Poole than Jalen Brunson on Jordan Poole, and Jalen Brunson would match up better on Steph Curry. And then you go into Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith on my man Klay Thompson, but Reggie Bullock or Maxi Kleber, someone's going to have to take care of Andrew Wiggins. And you also have Draymond Green. It's going to be definitely interesting. And Golden State, you could argue, are they thin? Like, look, first off, let me finish one thing. I'm not sure they have anybody who can guard Steph Curry effectively. Like, Jalen Brunson's not a great defender, and nor is Luka Doncic. Okay? And that's definitely somewhere where it gets interesting when you're watching it. You're thinking, all right, what should they do? Okay? It definitely gets interesting. I'm also, yawning right now, so I apologize for that. Now, Golden State, they're a little thin. Their X factor, obviously, is Jordan Poole. I would say you can really play. But the question is, will he perform at the Eastern Conference level when all eyes are on you? He's a good player, but sometimes he's a little erratic. Similar to just Spencer Dinwiddie, kind of goes quiet. And if you want to compare the X factor, who has the advantage, I'd probably go with Dallas because Spencer Dinwiddie has a lot more experience. Also, Otto Porter played half of Game 5 against Memphis and didn't play Game 6. So I'm wondering, what's the status on Otto Porter? Now, I've said this before. I picked Dallas in this series. I think they have – I don't know how you say this, but they do have the better depth. They're on a high momentum, and I feel like Golden State is depleted. I might be this could be looking like the beginning of the series. The Warriors are going to do good, but I think the Warriors are going to get burnt out. And the only thing that matters is, can Dorian Finney-Smith make his shots? Can Maxi Kleber make his shots? Can Reggie Bullock, who's been very good, continue to make his shots and play very good? Can Dinwiddie be more consistent? Brunson is kind of stable. I just think they've got more when you look at it. And the key is the matching up on Luka. Who are they going to put on Luka if you're thinking about the Golden State Warriors? Is it going to be Andrew Wiggins? Is it going to be Andre Iguodala? And you're thinking, also, is Andre Iguodala going to be healthy enough? He hasn't played now. And how long? Are they counting on him to be able to come back and give them more defensive minutes, which I seriously doubt. To me, there's a lot of Toscano Anderson. I mean, there's a lot of players on this Warriors team that have not played all season long. So you sit here and you're like, God damn, okay, we have not played all season long. So this is where I want to hear your thoughts down below. What you guys think of this? What do you think of the Warriors team? What's going to be their lineup? I think definitely their lineup is going to be something interesting and something we weren't expecting. My apology. Also, guys, we are doing all right here. I want to hear your thoughts down below. We're currently live, but what do you guys think of this NBA show? Anything that needs to be done? Or I'm also just making sure the tags are all good. Oh, that's why we got no tags on this baby. Thought we added all sorts of tags. Guys, we're going to be tagging this NBA radio show. NBA show. Yeah. Hopefully this is more than enough. Probably not, but just for the first episode, we're back into it. Sorry for being a little distracted right there. Hey, now when we look at this team, I think it's definitely cool to see that. I'm a very big fan. Also, I'm sitting in a closet. I have not made any closet jokes yet, but trapped in the closet. And the man was a midget. You guys ever watch that? Trapped in the Closet, R. Kelly? Oh, over here. First off, I'll say I do like R. Kelly's music. I do not condone any of R. Kelly's actions. or anything that R. Kelly stands for. Do not condone. But let's just continue. Back to the playoffs. I love R. Kelly's music and Trapped in the Closet. What great. Those are both great. Okay. And I want to say this. To me, when we watch this, I think like Golden State's IQ and they're cutting off the basketball and how they move and the way they play, maybe their IQ helps them play. They just grind. And that's where I get scared. 7 game series, they'll be able to do this. The scorers they know, the rebounders, the screeners, and the rollers, they know what to do. And it doesn't even have to be a big guy. Kevin Looney had a great game 6. He doesn't have to be the roller. Sometimes it could be Andrew Wiggins in the position where he gets a quick screen on Steph. The 2 people are jumping out and he's slipping or cutting through while rolling. They're just giving themselves a betterment of the offense, not knowing whether they're going to get the ball cutting back door, screening and slipping. But the other thing you need to think about is that it's ultimate sacrifice. They do all the little things offensively that wear on you the course of a series. And for Dallas, obviously, it's the playoff performer and Luka Doncic. He's had enough games. He's shown us enough, but can he keep it going? Can he carry this team? They need a second, a third option. Jalen Brunson's the right hand man, but he's kind of been 1A instead of 2B. They need him to be 2B more than 1A. I think because he's been 1A because they've been no 3B, 3C. I think it's definitely something interesting when you watch this, and you're just obviously hoping for the best. And yes, you could argue that Golden State could be too locked in, too experienced. Golden State will turn the ball over, but it won't affect them. Okay, their basketball is just at such a high level that they can withstand some turnovers, still play solid defense. They got a chance, and you could argue that they'll close it in 7 games. That's yes, they could close it in 7 games, and I think it will be on and interesting. But what about you? Want to hear your thoughts? What would you guys do if you were this team? How would you go about this, and why? But I definitely think it's a team that when you look at them, it's interesting. Now, finally, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, they kind of gotten into their groove since the end of the regular season, and it's great and amazing what Dallas has done. And everyone can agree that Golden State has an advantage on many levels, but Dallas has the brilliance of Luka Doncic. And the Mavericks have embraced the three-point guard attack. The Mavs may not have the experience the Golden State Warriors have and not seen the pressure of the conference finals. So obviously the Warriors have the advantage. But one could say that Doncic, he's such a unique talent. They've done a good job putting the pieces in the right place to find success. At this point, with the pressure of the conference finals, you could argue that it could go either way, that maybe the Warriors have a huge advantage in having been here before so many times and having seen and knowing how to make those adjustments very quick. And Steve Kerr being the veteran coach and Jason Kidd being not a first-year head coach, but first year with this team. So one could say the Warriors are going to win it in 7. I still want the Mavs to win it in 7, but I'll agree that the Warriors have the advantage to win it in 7. Now, let's do an NBA draft. First off, let's talk about something. For slogans, the ubiquitous term for the American national team, men and women, was one nation, one team. Whether you're watching U.S. national team match or on one of their official social media pages or shopping the Federation web stores, you're almost guaranteed to see a plastic all over the place. But marketing campaign has never felt more fitting than now. On Wednesday, following a bitter lawsuit and a lengthy and occasionally contentious negotiating period, the U.S. Soccer Federation and the Players Union for the U.S. women's and men's team announced that they have agreed to a separate collective bargaining that achieve equal pay through identical economic terms for both teams. I'm all for it. Again, I'm not going to be one of these people who will go. Let me put this: the women national team for America deserve to be paid as much as the men's team because I believe they get viewed just as much or more. They sell more gear. Like I've seen a bunch of U.S. women's soccer teams. Like U.S. women's soccer is badass, and those women's are badass. And a round of applause for those women. And I think it's good. Equal pay is, of course, the major and deserved headline for what with Wednesday's news. Three sides have agreed that the compensation negotiated with the two new CBAs, not just equal pay, but equal pay with equal rates of pay rather than comparing total compensation regardless of imbalance of matches played. The two teams will be on a level term for equal pay for every game played, from friendlies to World Cups and other competitions, equal bonuses for every game outcome and World Cup participation, equal pay for every day camp, equal split of the World Cup prize money, with two teams pooling then dividing their prize totals from 2022, 2023, 2026, and 2027. Equal split of new commercial revenue share program with US Soccer, equal rate for tickets sold for games controlled by US Soccer. So the US men, if they reach the round of 16 of Qatar to win the $13 million prize from FIFA, and the US women win the 2023 tournament to earn potential $7 million from FIFA. So an evenly split 90% of that combined 20 million would be, with the remaining 10% prize money going to the federation. So that nets out $9 million for each team to be split among their respective players. And that doesn't include the roster fees. First off, I think that's fair because our men's soccer for so long has been such a joke that more people watch the female soccer. But what I say right here that I don't think is fair is, to be honest, let me put this up. When you have WNBA players, I think that's the most predominant one that we could say that they argue about not being paid enough. First off, they're making six figures, and which is amazing. But my whole thing with it's just very obvious when people complain why women don't make as much. It comes down to revenue share. The NFL and the NBA, I won't speak for the MLB or NHL because I don't follow either of those sports hard enough to be able to speak on their collective bargaining agreements as I'm able to speak about the NBA's collective bargaining agreement and the NFL's collective bargaining agreement, which is something I kind of know like the back of my hand. She spent so much time talking about and reading it. Basically, I think the NBA has the best collective bargaining agreement, which is almost a 50-50 split, with the NFL being the second best, a 60-40 split. 60% goes to the owners, 40% goes to the players, I believe, is how the current split is. And with that being said, the reason why these guys get the massive contracts that they do and they get paid is they get a piece of the pie. If $100 billion has to be split 50-50 in the NBA, the NBA players get 50 billion. And now they'll have to split it between, 30 teams? So that's about 650 players have to split $50 billion. WNBA has operated in negative every single season of its existence. So for the players to already be making six figures, they make six figures off their NBA contracts, and they also make six figures off of the contracts they get from overseas teams in Russia and Eastern Europe. Now, is it fair? In a way, it's fair that they're getting. No, it's obviously it's not fair, but at the same time, grow the sport and the money will grow. And you're saying, well, they can't grow. You got to go to young. You can't grow people like my age. No, that's stupid. You go to local schools and you grow the sport there. You go to elementary and you give them free tickets to WNBA games, and you get little girls who are 6, 7 years old into the WNBA. That's how that works. Now, for me, I think about how are we, like, I just think grow your sport and you'll get paid. You can't complain that nobody's watching your sport and you're not getting paid. All right. US Soccer was able to leverage that, the women, because they knew they were getting more views than the men's team, and the men's were getting paid to be shit. That was fair. WNBA, your season's going on. The only reason I've seen highlights or even aware is because the NBA has been just like jamming it down my throat. I still don't care to watch the WNBA. It's not even because they're women. First off, I've seen plenty of women's basketball. Do I enjoy it? Not really. No, because I don't think that's I like watching women's soccer. Like, even in person, I like watching women's lacrosse in person. I've seen both of those sports in person. I've seen women's field hockey in person. All three of those sports very much fun to watch in person. Women's basketball is not. And honestly, I've actually seen women's softball, and that's not even that boring. Women's softball is kind of cool, like how hard they throw that. Again, I don't like softball or baseball, so I'm not going to be ever sitting down and really watching either of those sports. But I watched it before women's basketball. Women's basketball is pretty horrendous of a sport. I have a bunch of other jokes to make, but not worth it. Now we're gonna just go into the NBA mock draft. Let's go over here and let's share this screen. Ooh, I wanna share my screen. Alrighty. It's telling me I gotta like open allow this. Okay. There we go. I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh, later. This is wild. Ready? I think we should be good if I go over here. Yeah. All right, here we are. I'm sharing my screen right now. And as you guys are watching, this is Sam Vecini of the NBA Athletic mock draft. I just want to make sure we're still there. Yep, we good. So let's get right into the NBA lottery has ended, and I think we should talk about every pick in this draft that he has right here. I have my own mock draft. I got some help from Sam Vecini and a few other people, but let's get right into this and let's talk about it. So obviously I want my Orlando Magic to take Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith, in my opinion, is arguably one of, if not the best player in this draft. Okay? And also, guys, we'll be taking a 30-second break in a second. I have no idea. We could be taking a little 30-second break. We're going to take a 30-second break in between the show right now. Give me a second. I'll go. We're going to mute ourselves so we're sharing the screen. But as of right now, we're going to put a 30-second break. So I'm going to go take a piss. So we'll be right back. Because it was things like that now. Especially because I wasn't ready right now. That's what I'm in my challenge closet. It's actually not bad. But the way we get it set up so that when the corner light on me, it doesn't look terrible. Go back and share the screen. And that was funny. Screenshot guard. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. We're going to this. Bar. Yes. Right, guys. We're going to go to the rest of these. So we can go with equipment. Smokes a great deal. I was 12 years old and I was 17. You couldn't make them all the time. So you go in last section, but it didn't matter. But Large might take a prospect last draft. I agree with this man. Building shooter. We got him moving. Really a movement shooter. So we're like we're doing Kevin Durant, where he has an unblockable shot to be able to shoot over anyone. And he reminds me body-wise of Rashard Lewis. And I can't believe so many people have started to say that. I've said that since day one. Damn, he has a similar body as Rashard Lewis. I think he really can be a two-way Rashard Lewis. Obviously, he's a better passer and ball handler while attacking the rim. He's good, but not a great finisher. He has the ability to make multi-layered reads. And I obviously think he's the safest prospect in this draft. He retains a lot of upside because of his shot creation, especially with his step-back jumpers. And the Magic said we need talent, and we'll take the best player available, the safest one. I think we have PTSD from Chet Holmgren, so I don't think they'll be taking Chet Holmgren. I think they like Jabari Smith, and he fits perfect in between Franz Wagner and Jonathan Isaac. And the 4 point guards they have been R.J. Hampton, Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, and Jalen Suggs. Then you think about Wendell Carter Jr. and Jabari Smith splits right there next to Jonathan Isaac and Wendell Carter Jr. and Jeremiah Keki. So I think that all works out really well for them. It's perfectly fine. Now, he has second overall Chet Holmgren going. I would never pick Chet Holmgren there. I need to hit the jewel. What do you guys think of this? Do you guys enjoy this? Is this just me? But I think it's definitely interesting. Also, I want to see, does this one look better? Or do I like, nah, let's try. So if I'm going like this, you guys see it like that. All right. So we'll continue. So over here, they have Chet Holmgren going second to Oklahoma City. And I think definitely I did take – so I had Paul Banchero going there just because I think I have a fear that Chet Holmgren, because he's an ectomorph, he's going to have a similar body to Bol and Poku, that they're too skinny to go up against Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. And yes, does he fit the Oklahoma City team's idea of needing to use a real rim runner to protect inside, and his ability to play inside and outside offensively will be great for Mark Dignault. I'm saying that right, Dignault's scheme, obviously. But again, the issue is he weighs 195 pounds while playing a physical style. We'll be able to work against bigger players in the league. I'm scared that he's going to be a skinnier, a more mobile, skinnier, slightly better defensive version of Andre Barjani, which is still an all-star level player. Don't get me wrong. Andre Barjani, again, with me saying that his weakest thing would be rebounding and interior defense because of his lack of strength. But my problem with Chet Holmgren is his floor is being a skinnier, more mobile, slightly better defensive version of Andre Barjani. And I'm not saying this because they're both white at all. It's just Andre Barjani was the first overall pick. And Andre Barjani would probably still be a lottery pick in today's NBA. People would probably hammer home the concern of the lack of ability. But Andre Barjani, people forgot, was a 20-point scorer at one point. He's good. So yeah, Chet Holmgren here, it's just how long, because he's an ectomorph. It's harder for us to put on body mass. We have narrow shoulders because I'm an ectomorph myself. I'll admit it. I know I am. And I'm only 6'1", so it's kind of useless for me. I mean, besides the fact that I'll be skinny for the rest of my life. Now, Paolo Banchero is leading Duke to the Final Four this year, or led Duke to the Final Four. And Banchero showed he arguably is one of the most complete players. And he right here, Sam Vicente had him going to the Houston Rockets. I have him going to the Oklahoma City Thunder and Chet Holmgren going to the Houston Rockets, just because I think the Thunder are going to be like, we'd rather have Paolo Banchero be our center. And he's a guy 6'10", 245 pounds. This guy's so physical, but so polished as a ball handler. And the crazy part is he's one of the best passers in this draft at 6'10". Okay, and he can counter so many defensive coverages, and he favors scoring from mid-range, but can generate shots. He's a 3-level scorer, and obviously his defense isn't the best, but he projects his guy from guard inside and outside. And honestly, be a great front court player for any team. Like if the Oklahoma City Thunder, imagine Josh Giddey and Shea playing off of Paolo Banchero, but then you also think about Jalen Green and KPJ playing off of Paolo Banchero. That'd be really nice. Now at 4, we all agree, Jaden Ivey going to the Sacramento Kings, the man out of Purdue that we are all excited, who was putting in some work. Now, Jaden Ivey. My apologies to Jordan Ivey. Jaden Ivey. People are calling him John Morant. I think Jaden Ivey's more of a shooting guard than a John Morant point guard. And the thing is he was he's the best athlete in this class. He's extremely productive. He's so quick with his first step. He can power through anybody. He can explosively jump over anybody and get his way to the hoop. And I've seen comparisons like right here, Sam Vincent, his driving and his transition ability is very reminiscent of John Wall when he first came in the NBA. If you guys remember me, my third favorite team is arguably the Wizards. I'm a Timberwolves, Magic, Wizards fan because my first year moving to Maryland was in 2009. I remember watching the draft lottery in fourth grade and then going to Miss Bonanza's class and seeing Adrian Chartelis look at me. He's like, "Sir, you watch the NBA draft lottery?" And all I said was like, "Yeah, off the wall, off the wall, off the wall, off the wall, John Wall, John Wall." You used to be able to go around anywhere in Maryland and just in the DMV and just and people, if they were in a John Wall or Wizards jersey and you just did this, I mean, what you're talking about. Either way, you're thinking about, hey, the Kings have De'Aaron Fox and Davion Mitchell. Look, Davion Mitchell, small, you could be their sixth man. Jaden Ivey could be the power forward, okay? The main issue with Jaden Ivey is his non-existent mid-range and he's not a passer. He's not an elite passer. And that's why I don't think he's a lead guard. I think he's a shooting guard. And for me, his primary offensive role consistently will just be putting scores. And the Kings have De'Aaron Fox, all right? But I think, imagine, this is the best player available. You take Jaden Ivey right here for the Kings. Now, Shaedon Sharpe is a sighting we've seen for the first time. This man's a mystery. The 6'6" wing from Canada committed to Kentucky earlier this season and only made it there for a semester, then sat out the season and declared for the draft. He's eligible because he graduated high school in October before the 2021-2022 season began, turned 19 before the end of 2022. And Sharpe resembles a high upside gamble because of the potential as a wing shot creator. He looks every bit like a future NBA star at the wing position, combining elite length and terrific ops. Now, the problem for scouts is he hasn't played high-level competitive basketball. He's basically just coming out of high school. I think he just fits really well next to Sadiq Bey, Cade Cunningham, Kellyan Hayes, Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Stewart, Marvin Bagley, what they're going there. I like that. And Troy Weaver likes those type of guys. Now at 6, we got ourselves Keegan Murray, the 6'8", 21-year-old. He actually has a twin brother named Chris Murray. Could Keegan Murray and Chris Murray become the new Markieff and Marcus Morris twins? Maybe. Now, I like this pick. I wanted the Indiana Pacers, obviously, to draft Jaden Ivey because keep the guy in state. Damn. They already started the war crimes trials for Ukraine. But hey, I want to hear your thoughts down below. What do you guys think about this? If you guys are a fan of the NBA, if you're the Indiana Pacers, do you like Keegan Murray? A lot of people compared him to Tobias Harris. I think he's a better defensive player than Tobias Harris ever is. But the thing is Tobias Harris and Murray are both the same athlete, like defensive foot speed. I think Murray makes up for it with strength, and I think he could be a way better defender than Tobias ever was. Now, Jeremy Sohan, he's been compared to the Pat Williams of this draft class, okay? Because he's a switchable defender at 6'9", who can realistically guard all 5 positions. And he's smart. His positioning, timing, and his instincts are great on that side of the ball. Offensively, he's huge, can handle the ball over large spaces, and he makes some high-level passes that, you're just watching. You're like, okay, he finishes effectively, and he's really someone that I think everybody likes. And Sohan's a late riser, so like Pat Williams out of FSU in 2020. And it's because of his multifaceted game. If you buy Sohan as a shooter, becoming the shooter, then he's got real potential to be a two-way upside player. And with this team being still intact front office since Neil's old Neil regime, then they've tended to draft young, upside-driven players like Nazir Little. Sohan fits the mold, so they could use an impact defender. Now, the Pelicans at 8, Benedict Mathurin. Benedict Mathurin won Pac-12 Player of the Year, averaging 18.6 rebounds while shooting 37% from 3, 45% from the field. He's a bit of a marksman already, and he's an excellent catch and shoot player. And he's got a bit more game than just driving out, closeouts, and attacking using second side actions. Especially if he can improve as a ball handler, it would be good because he's a terrific open floor athlete who has the ability to get downhill and just jump out the gym. Now, the Pelicans should continue to look to adding a shooting core to surround Zion Williamson. I think Benedict Mathurin fits that well. And I think he also would be a great combination with CJ McCollum, Benedict Mathurin, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, Zion Williamson. That would be some real spice ball. It'll be fun to watch because I always win KZs. And AJ Griffin. AJ Griffin might arguably be the best three-point shooter in this draft. Like, he shot 45% from three, and he did this with pull-ups and off the catch. Like, he did this all at a high level. Like, he was impressive, and he has a chance to become one of the best shot creators in this draft class. Okay, and he's a guy who has the size, length, but the thing, I'll admit that he isn't a good defender. And but the thing is, you look at him, he's 6'6", he's got a big wingspan. Specifically, I want to pull up what is his wingspan, because AJ Griffin wingspan. AJ Griffin's 6'6", 220 pounds with a 7-foot wingspan. He played terrible at defense, but he didn't try. So I really think AJ Griffin projects to be the best 3-and-D wing in this class. This man can shoot it like Steph Curry. This guy has Klay Thompson level three-point shooting ability, but when he's 6'6" with a 220-pound frame coming out of college with a 7-foot wingspan, and he's a poor defender right now, no team is going to let him be a poor defender. He's going to come in the NBA and be a good defender. They're going to teach him how to become a good defender, and he's going to mess stuff up. Okay? And his athletic explosiveness, like the large final two high school seasons, he missed the last part of his final two high school seasons. He used to be a huge athlete, and that could be a problem. Now, 10, Dyson Daniels. He's a 6'7". I've seen 6'8" some places, but he's a guy who's been climbing up the draft boards, if I have to say so myself. He's a guy who's been soaring up the draft boards, and it's really because he played in the G League Ignite, and he's grown. He's actually grown in size, and I think people are actually surprised by that. But the thing is this is a guy, Dyson Daniels, who kind of fits perfect for the Wizards. They need a point guard, okay? And this is a team that – damn, there's a place called the NBA show already, and I just made this up. Damn, I thought we were the first place to come up with the NBA show, and they have beaten us. Did they really? No, I think they deleted their podcast. If they deleted their podcast, I am so happy. I would have been so upset if they – the NBA podcast. That's what I thought. Okay, they're called the NBA podcast. I was over here thinking, I was like, I thought we're the only NBA show. Yeah, they're the NBA podcast. We're the NBA show podcast. Either way, I do want to say, I'm surprised that there's the NBA show. We'll have to edit this because I guess we'll have to call ourselves the NBA show that continue to call it, because we technically are the NBA show dash Asseo and Upton. That's how I differentiated ourselves. That's good to know. That. Oh yeah. So Dyson Daniels is a terrific playmaker and defender for his size. Sources have told me he's grown throughout the year, and he's a guy who's switchable and disruptive with awesome instincts. His draft stock really just comes down to his shooting. He's not a good shooter by any means. He's a guy who needs to become a better shooter, and obviously that's, will happen with time. So this is where I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. I actually just realized that if you guys are looking at me, I'm looking at the other way, and I do apologize for that. But look, this is a team that right now, in my opinion, will continue to have success, the Wizards, if they make the right moves. Now, I want to hear your thoughts down below what would you guys? I want to share this on my We Live peep. Damn. So yeah, Knicks are up next after the Wizards. We're 45 minutes deep into this show today, so I'm glad for us. Glad for us. And I think definitely this is something when we're looking at it right here. We've been able to enjoy the fact that I think the Knicks will take Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren, 6'11". Oh, I just hit my foot on something. He's your prototypical rim running big man. And, I don't think anything's wrong with him, but I think he's definitely someone that, he's fun to watch. And if I were you, if you look at him, 6'11", 7'5", he's got the physical look of an NBA player, 245 pounds. If I was him, I would already be going after him. He looks hella good, okay? And he's fun to watch. So this is where I think about, if we go over here, Jalen Brown, people say he's a starter kid of DeAndre Jordan. I think he can be better than DeAndre Jordan. He's definitely a top 10 center, in my opinion. He's a guy that I think could have a lot of success in the NBA, and so many people would enjoy. And he just fits perfect because if they draft Jalen Duren, they can get rid of Mitchell Robinson and let him walk or sign train him and then trade Nerlens Noel, have Jericho Sims back him up. And, it's good. Will just texted me that he just woke up. You're good. I'm 45 minutes deep. Mid-mock. I'm over here. Where are we in this mock? You guys probably just saw me send those messages. Will just hit me back up. And the thing is, guys, we're over here when we're looking at this. Jalen Duren, again, allows them to move on from Nerlens Noel, which would open cap space, let Mitch Rob to walk, and then you have yourselves Jericho Sims backing up Jalen Duren from day one. I think that'd be perfect. Now, Ousmane Dang at 12 going to the Oklahoma City Thunder. This guy's been soaring up draft boards. I actually have him. I think I had him going 14. This is a little bit higher than I had him going. But again, he could easily go this early because 6'9", defensive effort. Honestly, guys, his frame, and someone's going to be like, it's only because they have a similar name. Luol Deng reminds me of this guy. This guy reminds me of Luol Deng, where he's not a crazy athlete, but he has the ability just to drill, pass, shoot, defend at a high level for a teenager, and he just has the upside that's worth a swing. Okay, he averaged 13.3 points and 48% from the field and 36% from three during his last 12 games in the NBL. And he's played way more under control compared to the end of the season. So I think he definitely, he's made an impact and he's helpful as all hell. I think they do very much enjoy having him on the team. Would enjoy having him on the team, Oklahoma City Thunder. I also could see them going for a different guy, but hey, the Charlotte Hornets. Mark Williams, they need a center, and they see Jalen Duren come off the board, and they get scared. And they're like, hey, we need a center. And Williams obviously was one of the best shot blockers. He averaged 3 blocks a shot a game, which is good for at least 1.5 block shots a game in the NBA. And he's a guy who's averaging 11 points per game, shot 72% from the field. He's a monster rim runner. He's got elite length, okay? And they took Kai Jones last year, but Jones doesn't quite protect as the rim runner. He's more of a 3-and-D4, in my opinion, than a 5. And LaMelo Ball, entering the portion of his career where he has to be ready for the playoffs, I think they kind of need to go for it right there. Now, at 14, we have Johnny Davis. Johnny Davis, the wing from Wisconsin. Big Ten Player of the Year. Good player. I see comparisons of Johnny Davis to, I can't even remember who, but he's a guy who's an on-ball and off-ball defender. He's not the most athletic guy. I think one could argue that the biggest fear with him is that he's close to, he'll translate easily to the NBA, but his ceiling on his draft test has dropped a bit in the recent months, but he still can go 7 to 17. He's just People think he's close to his ceiling. Ochai Agbaji, as the guy who goes to the University of Kansas, right here, baby. KU. Rachak. KU. Someone's probably over your surface. I also keep forgetting there's like background music in the background, so like I can hear myself. But hey, this has been definitely super interesting. What are your thoughts? We got a lot of water. We got fluids right here. Also, the fact that I'm trying to get this on National Public Radio, they're gonna hate me. Okay, this year's outside of Final Four player, Abaji's game just translated so well this year. He's elite, 6'5", catch and shoot player who hit 40%. I think he's Malik Beasley. Okay, I'll say this up front. He's Malik Beasley 2.0 who can play defense. Hate me. I will get up. You can punch me in the face, but that's my opinion right here. I think he really is Malik Beasley. Offensively, he's the same exact player that Malik Beasley is. Physical tools, same. I think he has a bit bigger wingspan than Malik Beasley, but he's the same exact player that Malik Beasley is, except that he can play defense, okay? Defensively, he's this tough, strong, physical wing. Yes, he lacks the elite measurements that you like out of the genuine plus defenders of the NBA, but he'll hold his own. He won't make mistakes. And he's going to be a good role player, starting caliber role player who's a fifth or fourth option on a team. He's a solid defensive player. His shooting makes him a good player, but he's not a shot creator. He's not a guy who's going to be going out there and putting 20 on the ground off of moves he creates. No, he needs a guy like LaMelo Ball to create for him to be an off-ball catch-and-shoot scorer or a guy in transition who'll get a lob or get the ball in transition and slam it home. He's not going to be a guy who you put out there with no other, facilitators, and he's going to be able to create for himself because that's not who Ochai Agbaji is. He's Malik Beasley who can play defense. I just get pissed when I talk about him because people at KU think he's so good. Malachi Brown. I actually had him going up a lot higher in my draft, but as of late, he's been falling down the draft boards. I actually have Ochai Agbaji going over here with the Hawks. But Malachi Brown, freshman, 19 years old, 6'5", shot 42.3% from three and 52.8% from the field during his last 22 games in college basketball, averaging 17 points. And I know he's an elite athlete, but he's a good enough athlete to get defenders off balance, attack, and go downhill. And I really do think he's a top 20 pick. He's a guy who looks like he could be a 3-and-D guy. So that's where I want to hear your thoughts down below. Do you guys like Malachi Brown? At 17, Ty Washington, as you guys know. I don't know why they called Keldon Johnson here a guard, but Emmanuel Quickly, Tyler Hero, and Tyrese Maxey are all examples of Kentucky guards who sucked in college and then, they come out amazing. But also Washington, game 1 through game 17, averaged 14.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5 assists, 51.5% from the field, 42% from three, and 82% from the line before getting hurt. And then those numbers drop over the last 14. So which Ty represents the real one? I think the first one. At 18, Tari Eason going to the Chicago Bulls. And this guy was super productive. 6'8", 17 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block a game while shooting 52% from the field and 36% from the three. Yes, I know he has a catapult-like shot that will take some time to iron out. He's not a great playmaker, averaging, barely assist a game. But his defensive ability to potentially guard a variety of players 1 through 4 is great. And I know the Bulls already have Caruso Ball, Kobe White, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, Zach LaVine. Hey, look, Tari Eason kind of just fits there perfectly. And he's only, Tari Eason's 21? Tari Eason, I did not know he was 21. Good for him. Hey. Blake Weasley, 19 years old, at 19 going to Minnesota. This guy's a shocker. He's got a lightning quick. And I know he struggled immensely after college because he's got his eyes on him and devised schemes to slow him down. But he shot 36% from the field and 26% from three. But his ceiling's high. He's got these powerful strides and the suddenness to his game, but he's got a lot of potential there. Okay, it's fun to watch. Very much fun to watch. Yeah. Now, at 20, Walker Kessler as a backup to Jokic Poeltl. At 21, Jalen Williams from Santa Clara, 6'6" with a 7'2" wingspan. This guy can guard 1 through 4, and he hits 40% of his threes. And he's a guy seems like he could develop at a high rate. Bryce McGowens, okay. McGowens has value as a prospect, and it's about what he could do. He's got solid mechanics, but he didn't shoot at a great rate. He's 6'7", and the Grizzlies fit perfect there. The Brooklyn Nets or the Philadelphia 76ers, the Nets could decide to send this to the Sixers so they can get the Sixers next year picks. That's what I would do because you never know what Joel Embiid's health. And this one is, look, Jaden Hardy, as you watch his tape, you might not like it, but the more you watch the second half, he got better. He's got good handle in this class. He's knocked out, three-point shooter. He's willing to make passing reads, and he's a good player. I also could see him being the Brandon Boston of this class and barely go. Then Terquavian Smith out of NC State. And this guy shot 40.1% from three. And last year, Josh Primo and Trey Mann proved their first-round talents for being elite three-point marksmen who can create their own looks off the mounds and have enough youth to grow into the rest of their game. I think Terquavian Smith would fit perfectly for the Bucks. Nikola Jovic, this guy is a beast. Yes, he's a point forward, and the Spurs are perfect for him. I will talk about him more, but we're about to wrap. We got 4 minutes left in this episode, guys. Marzon Beauchamp. This guy is the dirty work 3-and-D wing that every team wants nowadays. Kenny Chandler is, he's the defensive version of Sharif Cooper. Honestly, very reminiscent of an Eric Bledsoe, smaller Eric Bledsoe. Jake LaRavia, he is an older guy in this draft, but he's just so smart, one of the highest basketball IQs in the draft class. He just knows where to make the right move, his ability to dribble, pass, and shoot. He'll be good. He's not a great defender, but he's a good team defender and knows how to make the right rotation. So I think he'll be able to stay on the floor. And Patrick Baldwin could stay in the draft, could not. Man, Patrick Baldwin, he's a non-shot creator who ended up having to do too much on offense far too regularly. Okay, and he's been much better off on teams where other players could have created shots for him, and he could use his pristine shooting mechanics to use for open looks. And out in 11 games, he only took 7 uncontested three-point shots. That's a low number, exemplifying how bad Milwaukee's guards were. So this guy was a top 5 recruit in the country. I have no idea where his draft stock is going to go. And then Kendall Brown, he had an outstanding start to the season and then kind of pedaled off, but he's an extremely athletic guy with a twitch and vertical pop at 6'8", 6'9", and can defend in space. Yeah, he's not particularly comfortable as a shooter and isn't comfortable as a ball handler, but I think he'll grow. So this is the second round. I also think Christian Brown will not be drafted. Fuck Christian Brown so much. But there we go. We're over here. Ooh. Where are we going? I wanted to show the background. There we go. Oh, yeah, we added that. We took that off the stream because who would have known? That was today's episode, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. It wasn't anything special. We kind of just, I guess, it wasn't anything special. We were just kind of queuing it up, telling you guys what was up. Yeah, we'll be on next episode. We should be on Friday. I don't know if we're doing one tomorrow. Maybe we do one tomorrow. But I hope you guys did enjoy this. We're going to milk this down for the final moment of it. I'm gonna get out of here. We covered the entirety of the draft. I kind of wrapped up the end a little quick just because I did not actually give a hell. At that point, I was a little tired. I've been sitting in this closet for an hour by myself. Trapped in the closet. And the man was a midget. That was such a great. Have you guys never seen? It's one of the only hip operas. Trapped in the Closet by R. Kelly. I've seen it like 3 times. Anytime I have a friend who hasn't seen it, I cue it up. I put it on. And it's incredibly entertaining. So I was gonna be like you're racist for that, and I don't know how. I don't know why. But screw you if you think that. Either way, that's all we got. I hope you guys do have a great day. That's basically all my thoughts. We're going to milk this one for about another 30 seconds. So Goodbye, guys. Like and subscribe. Do all the go check. Go check out Will at his channel. He's got a bunch of channels, but his main channel is Will Upton. WIL space UPTON. And you can go, all his Twitter and stuff is there. Go check him out. Definitely go check him out. Then you need as well, if you want, go check me out, Cyro Asseo. Cyro Asseo. I mean, it's on the board right there. So search that number up, and I'll be right there. So I hope you guys do have a great one. That's basically it. I'll throw up the